Welcome to Synthetic Oil Protection. I'm your host, Eben.
I'm Jeff. How we doing?
And today we're going to be going over 5 easy things you can do to winterize your vehicle. We know it's getting a little bit cold out there. Now we're fortunate we actually live here in Vegas, so it's not quite as cold as certain areas.
No, but it's still cold. If you're from Vegas, right now we've hit the all-time low of 46 degrees, and I can't tell you how miserably cold my feet are.
Yep.
2 pairs of socks, pair of leather shoes.
We're getting the coffee going.
Oh.
We'll make some coffee.
Yes.
And we also wanted to say a little something. We're going to be doing a couple of things, but if you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe. Tap the little notification bell. You'll see that little bar. You'll see the bell pop up. You'll be notified when we do another video. And we post videos all throughout the week. We do videos here at the garage. Today we're at Express Lube Auto Repair. This is Jeff's shop, and he is a master mechanic with how many years, Jeff?
Holy moly, we're 20-something years.
All right.
20-something years.
So Jeff does this stuff in his sleep. And for me, I'm just a professional YouLubher.
Yeah.
All I do is just lube her up. So I pride myself on it, and they say, if it ain't wet, it ain't protected, and if it ain't protected, it ain't wet. That's why the wetter the better. So we can use that with the upper cylinder lubricant. That's something we can use. So so we're gonna get started.
So wait, you requested coffee. I have some options for you.
All right.
We have creamy hazelnut.
All right.
We've got some fake ass chicory coffee.
Oh my God.
Yeah. We've got pumpkin spice. And we have
Pumpkin spice.
French vanilla and peppermint mocha. What's your flavor choice, sir?
I'd like French vanilla, please.
French vanilla.
French.
We're gonna pop it in like that. Drop the top.
Ooh.
Strong, medium, or light.
Let's go with strong.
Good choice.
Thank you, Jeff.
I only drink strong.
Thank you. I need a good hot hit. Gets us excited.
All right, just like that. So, winterizing your vehicle. Let's start at the very, very beginning.
And also, in a couple minutes, we're going to be answering all your questions from last week.
Oh, yes.
So we went through the comments. We'll do that probably about 10 minutes from now. So if you want to fast forward, you can check that out. And we're doing it recorded now for higher quality videos.
Yeah, much better. And don't forget, stay to the end, because the end is the what?
Our magic.
Magic show.
Yeah.
Wait, just like Dan Sperry. Magic show.
All right.
All right.
We got a fan of Dan Sperry. We got a bunch of other great people back here. Give them the rundown, Jeff.
Oh boy, so up in the top hand corner, we got Mr. Mondre, world famous Mondre. He actually performed last year in South Korea at FISM.
All right.
Stage performance. We have homies right there. We've got Bizarro and Shocker, 2 good friends of mine, awesome dudes, great magicians. They'll have you in stitches laughing your butt off. We got Michael Carbonaro. Everybody knows the Carbonaro effect. Cool dude. I got to bid on the consulting gig for him. It was really fun. So we got John Sheets. He got me 2 different wonderful photos, him and his parrot. I got Leslie McKinney, who's a wonderful, wonderful stage illusionist. And then I've got Nick Lacapo. Nick Lacapo is a really, really awesome close-up magician. He works for Penguin Magic and a few other things. So yeah, we got more on the way.
Oh yeah. And it's building the community here.
It is.
And if you're watching this, definitely reach out to Jeff or I. We'd love to have you on the channel.
Yeah.
And that would mean so much to share anything. If it's your car experiences, you want to come on and do a little 10 minutes of magic,
Yeah.
we got space for it because this is our channel. We're here just reaching out to everyone, and it's about the community and giving back to everyone. So everyone becomes a part of the channel as they come on, and Jeff is doing Facebook a lot. I do a lot of YouTube, and it means so much to have us. So if you're new and you don't have Jeff does magic all the time on his Express Lube page. So you'll go to Facebook, type in Express Lube Auto Repair. You'll see all his magic videos, and Jeff just brings so much color. And speaking of color, bring that book over.
Ooh, we have ourselves a coloring book here. This is the a fun magical coloring book. It's actually my favorite coloring book.
Jeff, your hands are dirty.
Oh no, I cleaned them.
They're still a little dirty.
Watch.
Dummy.
Wait, let me look. They're clean.
Jeff,
Show them the coloring book.
Should we give them the magic show? Not now. We'll do it at the end.
Let's hold it.
Stick around.
But there it is.
We're going to be doing a magic show. All right.
We got a coloring. We got some coloring book magic.
Yep.
I got some real awesome magic that we're gonna do with a quarter.
Yes.
So yeah.
So let's give them the first thing. How do they winterize their car? What's the most important first thing they should do?
So the very, very first step, and this should be obvious, but oil.
All right.
Oil, because what happens when oils run too long? What's the consequence of the viscosity?
It burns off, thickens.
Thickens.
And if it's cold out,
That's gonna make it a hard start. That's gonna amp out your starter.
Ugh.
You know, there's a cool little test I do, and I've got an inductive amp clamp. And if you're testing a starter that's bad, you put this amp clamp on the negative, and you turn the starter, and it'll tell you how many amps it's drawing. A good starter on a warm day will draw about anywhere between 100 and 140 amps.
right?
A hard starting car, when it starts amping out really bad, I've seen as high as 250. Now, that's going to do two things. The first thing it's going to do is going to start sucking your battery down. Second thing it's going to do is going to start wearing out your starter. So you keep fresh oil, especially the good synthetic stuff, 100% synthetic. Your crank drag is lower, right? We talk about that. That's how we get better fuel economy. Well, also, you get smoother startup. We even talked about it. I didn't really believe it until I did it for myself. But startup time. He's like, oh, you put the signature series in your car, and your car will crank less and start quicker. I'm like, yeah, okay. Really, I mean, to be honest, I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. I put it in the Honda, which now has a new home, and I always add about under a quarter of a tank because I'm an E-light to E-light kind of guy. I live on the edge.
All right.
I'm dangerous. I'm the kind of guy that looks over a cliff and spits. That's right, on the edge.
I like it.
So, yeah, I was about 30 miles from the E-light, and normally it takes longer to crank. I get about 4 cranks before it pops off. That was pop right off.
Wow, so 2 pops instead of 4.
2 pops.
So my story with AMSOIL is I used the 5W30 Signature Series on my C5 Corvette, which I have a video, I have a whole playlist actually, which I'll stick up here in the corner, of everything I did to my Corvette, the gas mileage, the exhaust, the tuner, everything. We've been together for 73,000 miles. We've parted ways. You'll see how that happened on there. We're not going to get into any details.
No details.
So when I first had my experience, I switched over to AMSOIL, and it started up like 33% quicker. When it idled, it instantly sounded quieter on the valves, and it just completely blew my mind. And ever since that day, I just was totally blown away with the products. And then I started getting deeper in. So it's like getting into a relationship. You start soft. You might have a cup of coffee. Then you move to the next step. And that's what I did. I actually tried the oil first. Then I did the oil and the oil filter. I got even better performance. Then I started using fuel additives. I used the PI Performance Improver. Cleans your valves, gets the carbon deposits out of the combustion chamber, cleans your fuel system. This is an upper cylinder lubricant, just came out. This actually lubricates the system, and it treats 25 gallons of gas. So I just kept getting in more and more. I tried like the silicone spray, and then I also tried the one that blew me away was the NP metal protector.
Yeah.
And I kept just trying stuff, and I was really impressed. And everything's American. And it's tough to kind of bend your head around that stuff in the beginning because there's so much aftermarket junk out there. Like Duralast, some of these different parts companies, they make stuff that'll fall apart in your hands. You didn't even barely even put any pressure on it. And when I saw the redundancy and the quality, the resilience of these products, when I started getting out there and twisting bottles, slapping them, tapping them, dripping them, dropping them. Once I got in that mode, I was hooked. And ever since, I've been sharing the experience with other people. And as of now, it's emotional.
It is.
I gotta get out here. So what's the next thing that they should be doing?
So the next thing, after we get a good fresh oil change and oil filter on there, I'm gonna say, simply because it's cold, cooling system.
All right.
Let's make sure your cooling system's up to snuff. We got two ways we can do that. We protect it from heat and we protect it from cold. Coolant boils at a higher temperature than standard water does, which prevents you from overheating because it stays under pressure, and it resists freezing. And depending on your mixture, standard mixture will take you 20 below-ish, and then you can go higher mixture, get you 30 below, so on and so forth. For that really, really hardcore stuff, you've got to be up in the northern U.S., and it's possible. I was in upstate New York, coldest day I ever experienced, 47 degrees below zero. That was appalling.
Now, I'm going to give them a little info on this.
Ooh,
now,
go
this
for it.
is the Dominator Coolant Boost, and what this does is it actually allows your engine to warm up 54% faster. It also allows it to run up to 25 degrees cooler. Now, the biggest thing that you want is the quicker warm up in the winter, obviously.
Yeah, oh gosh,
And that does a couple of things. And from a distance, it might look like nothing.
It's a huge thing
But
though.
when it warms up 54% quicker, you get off idle up quicker, so you're burning less fuel, you're not running rich.
Yeah.
You'll have less blow-by, because when those cylinders start to warm up more evenly, you're going to have less blow-by. And that blow-by is really a killer to your motor oil. So instead of murdering your motor oil, what you want to do is you want to keep that gasoline out of the motor oil.
Yeah.
And when you're running rich, and the car's not warm,
Get in there.
that gas is going to get in there, and you know what the gas has? Tell them what it's got in there.
It's got ethanol.
Yes.
Ah!
And what does that do to oil, Joe?
Breaks it down. Ah! So the top fuel dragsters that run nothing but that high quality corn squeezing ethanol, they have very special oil that actually rejects the ethanol. Most of those really hardcore race oils are actually their job is to fight the high ethanol content, and they change their oil every single day of racing.
Yeah.
A day of racing and new oil. Day of racing and new oil. So I mean, there's
So you're driving the car for the whole year
Yeah.
with this stuff. 15,000 miles of psychotic, abusive taxi cab driving here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, everything's taxi cab driving here. Everybody
Dude,
drives
so-
like a crazy person.
Yeah,
Including myself.
It's not half throttle. They don't know it's something half throttle. They know off the gas, or they know
It's
to the floor.
It's a light switch.
That's
They
it.
have a light switch for start and a light switch for stop, and that's it. Holy mother of pearl. So, cooling system.
Yes.
Another thing you were talking about, the faster warm up. Tech speak time. We're going into the technical zone.
Give
I
it
want
to
to get to the point where we can do like flashing things at the bottom where it says technical zone.
Give it to them.
All right, technical zone. So the faster your vehicle warms up, the faster it goes into what's called closed loop operation, which is coming off of high idle.
Wow.
Now, when you're on open loop, which is when you first start your vehicle, the car is not using any of its sensors to operate the fuel air mixture. It is literally using a pre-programmed thing based off the outside air temperature, the temperature of the coolant. It ignores the oxygen sensors. It does use the mass airflow sensor.
Wow.
But it is not controlling the fuel mixture. It's spray and pray. So it's putting as much fuel as it can until it gets to operating temperature. Then it goes into closed loop and leans it out to what we standard operate cars in. So if you can warm up faster, you're going to save gas.
Now, Jeff, also tell them what that does to the water molecules and what it does to the heater core.
It is a surfactant. I love that word. Surfactant is such a cool word. Basically what it does is, everybody remembers the experiment of putting pepper on top of water and then dropping a drop of dish soap and the pepper goes down. Well, the whole reason for that is water has surface tension. Well, that surface tension is where the water contacts anything. So the water contacting inside the glass has surface tension against the glass itself, the top. When we pour this in there, it breaks that surface tension. You know what we need to do? We need to do an experiment, cup of water and like a leaf or something like that, and just put a couple drops of coolant boost in to watch it do its thing.
Wow.
To prove it to somebody.
Wow.
But when there's less surface tension, there's less friction, the coolant molecule, I'm not gonna say water, it's not water, it's coolant. It's closer to the metal surface. Therefore, the heat transfer is considerably better.
So your heater core will actually absorb more heat. Thus, when the air flows over those fins, it'll actually blow hotter
Much
air.
better heat. Yeah.
Completely blow your mind. So not only if you live in like Pennsylvania where I'm from, and I moved out here about 7.5 years ago, your car will warm up 54% quicker. And it'll be even warmer. How warm? I would say another 15 to 30% warmer. That's what I physically felt when I've done this. And I've done a lot of coolant changes in the channel. This is compatible with all other coolant makes, models, and colors, except waterless. So if you have Eben's Cool, obviously you don't put anything in Eben's Cool because that's for like classic cars and stuff that you want to sit forever. It's just a special coolant that's waterless. Okay. It's like a synthetic.
Gotcha.
It's a very specific application.
Fair enough.
Not really for most vehicles, but they do prescribe it for vehicles, and then they want to potentially actually change the size of your radiator. So if you want a straight across plug and play technology, shaboo, you slap that stuff in, and you'll be so happy. You'll be buying friends this as a gift. I mean, and it costs nothing. I mean, this costs basically a couple cups of coffee.
Yeah. So we got the coolant, right? And so our engine's protected from freezing. Our oil is protected from thickening.
Yep.
Well, next thing, we got to drive there, right?
Yep.
You need tires.
We're all going on trips this time.
Yeah. I might even. Who knows? I'm debating on maybe going skiing.
I like that.
I love skiing, so we might New Year's I might take the fam up skiing.
You should do that.
It sounds like a fun thing.
I like that.
Before I do that, first off, I got some nice tires on my Pilot. I got some nice, meaty, all-weather, can handle snow, mud, turf, dirt. It's good stuff. But before I go, I'm going to adjust my tire pressure because every 10 degrees you drop is at least 1 psi. So if you're going, let's say we're going from here in Vegas, it's now 46 degrees outside, and I go up into Bryan Head, Utah, where it's 10 degrees. I have since lost 3 psi just going up there, and then of course you have the altitude and all that kind of stuff. So making sure before you go on a trip that your tires are up to snuff, that is going to provide you better traction. It's going to provide you better gas mileage. It's going to make it safer to drive. So yeah, tires are important. And since we're talking about tires and winter trip,
roll into it.
Let's just
roll right into it.
You got 2 things you need when you hit that mountain pass that's covered in snow and you don't have a wagon, 3 horses, and people trying to eat you like Donner's Pass. You need snow chains or snow cables depending on your application. So snow chains, I do not generally, and this is personal preference, this is not the law. I prefer snow chains for rear-wheel drive vehicles. I prefer snow cables for front-wheel drive vehicles. Just a personal preference because I really think it has to do with the amount of grind sound you have in the front when you put chains on a front-wheel drive car. It sounds horrible. Let me explain something. When you put chains or cables on, don't expect to drive the speed limit. You're probably not supposed to drive more than about 25, 30 miles an hour. If you do drive over towards the speed limit, what will happen is you'll end up grinding down the cables. The cable snaps and starts just shredding stuff. Now, okay, you got a fender well. Cool. Inside that fender well is wiring looms. Some of them have the computer in the fender well. I mean, there's all sorts of crazy stuff. The 2017 Chevy Silverado 3500 heavy duty in the right-hand fender well has the DEF tank, the diesel exhaust fluid tank. And some of them, when they have a blowout, will shatter that tank and you're losing all your diesel exhaust fluid. So be careful with it, but remember, chain up. If you hit something that you're nervous about, you think it's going to be slippery, chain up. But before you do, practice at your house. Practice in your driveway. I've gotten to the point where I can throw on, laying in the snow, a set of chains in probably about 5 or 10 minutes. It's really not that bad. You kick the snow out, drape the chain over the back, bring it around, you gotta hook it, hook in the back, hook in the front, roll forward, tighten it, go to the other side. They also have some self-tensioning chains. They got some really cool stuff.
Where can they find that and what do they cost roughly?
Walmart. Yeah, favorite place, Walmart.
That's a big box place, isn't it?
Yes, big box store.
They say in life, you have to think outside of the box.
Unless you're in Walmart.
I say differ. If you're inside the box, you got it.
You got made it.
Yep.
So the range on them that I was looking at, because I got some recently, anywhere between 40 to 100 bucks.
All right.
For a good set of chains. You do not need to get all 4 tires changed.
The drive chains.
Drive wheels only.
All right, so question, Jeff,
Yeah.
what's a good name brand to find? I don't know anything about chains.
To be honest with you, I don't go off of name brand because here in Vegas, I had 2 options. So I've never actually looked in and saw a brand of chains. I had the same set of chains in my truck for 10 years. Same chains, used them, didn't have any idea what brand they were, just knew how to put them on. I had a set of snow cables for an old Nissan Altima. I had a 98 Altima. And that's when I found out if you drive too fast on cables that they shred. Also, as soon as you come off the precarious road, you're off the ice, you're off the snow, pull over, take the chains off. You drive those chains on asphalt and it'll start damaging your tire because there's too much pressure pushing up inside of there.
What's the next thing?
What is the next thing? What do you think?
So we went through motor oil.
Yeah.
We went through coolant.
Okay.
That's what cools your engine and
Yeah.
allows it to warm up quicker
Yeah.
if you have the good stuff.
Yeah.
Third thing was change, Jeff?
Yeah. Tires.
Oh, tires was the
And
third.
then chains.
Fourth change. Fifth thing, I'm gonna say
You have to
is
challenge me.
I'm gonna say fuel stabilizer if it's a vehicle or equipment you're not using.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Is that a
So
good thing to have? for the winter?
let's go with
Because you don't know, sometimes you're driving a vehicle and you may not be running it for the rest of the winter.
Well, yeah. Let's go both ways on that.
All right.
Okay. So before you put away your Skidoo in the summertime, you pour this in your Skidoo's tank and make sure that your snowmobile is winter or summerized, so it doesn't, you don't crack it out in the first snow and you got leaks out of the carburetor.
Show them the ethanol badge.
Oh yes, fights ethanol.
Beat up ethanol.
Fights ethanol.
Don't let ethanol bully you.
That's right.
It'll murder, tell them what it'll murder, Jeff.
Oh, it'll murder your seals. Mainly it'll murder your seals. It's what starts causing the gas to degrade and turn in. We say gas turns into varnish. You ever open up an old fuel can or an old gas tank and you get that? It smells like varnish. It's a horrible, horrible smell. It smells nothing like gas. If you ever open up a can and smell that, before you even try to crank that vehicle, you need to flush the cooling system because you don't want that gum and nasty stuff in your fuel system. If you have, if you got a carburetor that's got jets, it'll plug your jets. If you got a fuel filter, well, it's inside that fuel filter is probably rotted out.
And also it can separate and you can get water in there because of the condensation.
Yeah. And pretty sure that that's bad.
Oh yeah. It's definitely a
And
must.
if you know this, and this has nothing, there's no AMSOIL product for this, but if you're planning on going up into the cold area and you're not from the cold area, go to the auto parts store and buy yourself a bottle of heat. H-E-E-T.
Schmott.
Because heat is basically it's a fuel dryer. It's denatured or methyl alcohol. You put it in there and it causes the water to unfreeze because alcohol mixed with the water lowers the freezing temperature. So literally, if you have fuel frozen in your lines, you pour the ethanol in there, or the methyl, whatever the hell it is, and it's supposed to thaw it out.
Speaking of that, Jeffries,
Speaking of that,
we have something profound that we must share.
oh please tell me about
This is a diesel additive, and this happens to be the summer formula, and it does 3 things. Now there's another one that does 4 things, and that's called AMSOIL All-in-One. And what that does, it will start out with the one that applies to you for the winter, and that's the anti-gelling feature.
Oh, that's
Now
important.
diesel has these waxy crystals, and they can start to get scratchy, and they'll actually murder your filter, clog it, and then what happens when it chokes the fuel pump?
Yeah, done. Bad day.
Kill the fuel pump. So you don't want that to happen. So you get yourself some diesel all-in-one, and it has the anti-gel. It also has the added cetane for better performance when you're towing, plowing snow. Much better, smoother operation, more wheel horsepower.
Yeah.
The other thing you got is lubricity. This lubricates your injectors. Sulfur used to be added.
Yeah.
Now they actually got rid of a lot of sulfur, so now you're scratching your system. This lubricant will make it run as smooth as silk. And another thing is it cleans the combustion chamber. It cleans deposits off the valves, gives you better valve seating, more horsepower, smoother operation. And you say, well, Eben, how much better fuel mileage?
How much better fuel mileage, Eben?
8% better.
8%.
And
My
now it
goodness.
depends on the vehicle, and it depends on the application. You can see more or less, but to give you a rough idea, we had a very colorful gentleman, Diesel Steve.
Diesel Steve.
He's been in the battlefields for years, and you say, how's he colorful? He gets diesel all over himself.
Oh,
He gets
yeah.
black hands. He'll rub his face, and he just gets diesel all over his body. And unbelievable guy. And he's like a cartoon come to life.
Yeah.
And good old Diesel Steve is so cool. And we actually did his 1997 F250 7.3 liter Power Stroke turbo diesel.
Yeah.
This is old diesel technology. And
Wonderful.
We were able to bump them from 350 miles to 420 miles on one full tank.
That's amazing.
And Steve, it just blew his fuse. And actually, Steve is an AMSOIL dealer under Jeff. He's actually out there in the field recommending the products. And for $1 million, if we told him that oil would make a difference, he said there'd be no way it could do anything. All we did was an engine flush,
Yeah.
oil change,
About the cetane.
some cetane boost, and that sucker went an extra 60 some miles
Yeah.
more per full tank.
And that was before we hadn't done the transmission yet. We hadn't done the coolant, the
Yep.
gear oil.
Yep.
Literally engine and fuel. That was it.
Yep.
So it's a testament. It's a testament.
Yep. And Steve, he went and did all his fluids, because once you feel the products, it becomes real.
Yeah.
It's like, thinking about feeling the beautiful breeze down in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see a movie in the Caribbean, but
could.
you don't know what it's like to see crystal clear water. Be standing there in the water, and boom, you get stung by a jellyfish. No, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. That's not-
Portuguese man of war.
No, that's terrible. That's terrible. But basically, you have to feel it to believe it.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm gonna say, I'm a big skeptic. I'm not necessarily a skeptic. I'm healthily reserved. So if you tell me something, and again, I've been in the automotive field for quite some time, you tell me something that defies what I generally believe or generally know, first thing I do is call shenanigans.
Correct.
And
Or horse puppies.
horse puppy, bullshit.
Horse puppy.
So it really it took some work for me to go for it, but I mean once I believe in a product, that's it. It is gospel truth. So I proved it to myself. I'm looking forward to taking my vehicle up into the snow and testing. So I got the coolant and all that. I got the trans fluid all up in my Honda. I'm looking forward to it. Got the 4x4 VTM.
Well, Jeff, should we get into comments first, or should we give them the magic show?
Well, let's give him a quick magic show. We got more magic, but let's start with the first act.
Act 1. Act 2. Now we're going to do the grand finale.
The
If
grand
you enjoy
finale.
this is my only show. I do it here in the street. If you think the show's worth a $5 bill, you put a 5 in the hat. If you think it's worth $10, you put a 10 in the hat. If you think it's worth 20, that's normal. Just put a 20 in the hat. It's whatever you believe it to be worth.
What if I don't like your show?
That's a great question. What you want to do, you want to sit here, and if you don't have any money to give, I understand. Because I've been in your shoes before, and if I had your shoes, I wouldn't take your shoes. I would appreciate you for who you are.
All right.
Who are you?
But what if I have money?
I don't know you. So now,
All right.
the final grand finale.
Oh, here it is.
bringing color to life in every way is what we do on the channel. Thank you for being a part of the channel.
Ta-da! Magic.
The hat is right here. If you can give, now's the time to give. The more you give, the better you live. And loving and giving makes life worth living. So thanks. And I remember the first time I found out that I wasn't getting paid, and I can sympathize with you. So thanks.
All right, so we have our questions. Do you have our little piece of, oh, there's our piece of paper. It's coming in from the stage right. Ta-da! Watch. Wow! Okay, so we got our questions. First question was from Donato Fontanat. I think that's Italian, so I don't want to screw it up, but 1977 450 SL Mercedes with a 4.6.
Beautiful vehicle.
What products can I use in my car?
Many products.
All right, so first
Upper
one,
cylinder lubricant.
upper cylinder lubricant.
You can use the .3.4 brake fluid.
.3.4 brake fluid.
You can do an engine flush.
Engine flush. Dominator coolant.
Yep. We can also use the European 540 Mercedes specification oil. And you also may want to check that with tech support. You may also want to use the premium protection. That is a 10W40. That also meets the Mercedes spec, and it has high zinc.
I would probably, personally, I'd do the 1040 because I do know the
Premium protection.
Premium protection.
100% synthetic. You can run that in your classic car for 15,000 miles or 1 year of severe service. You want to make sure your oil filter is changed regularly. And as long as that oil filter is changed at about 5 to 10,000, you can just keep running that oil. And it's amazing how sturdy and strong that oil is.
And we've got, we can use the Signature Series ATF.
Transmission fluid, and that's the multi-vehicle transmission.
Yeah, good stuff, 100% synthetic. And then we have the Severe Gear 7590.
Yes, and that is a modified differential gear loop GL5 spec. You may want to double check that. It could call for the GL4, but usually they're interchangeable. And the difference is the amount. They're different. They're generally the amount of modifier that's added. And AMSOIL already has that modifier for the clutch packs inside the GL5. And
we did Notorious. We did a Dodge.
Yes.
I didn't tell you about it. We had a Charger in here.
Oh my God.
And he wanted to do some AMSOIL in here, so I did AMSOIL Trans. I did his rear differential. And Dodges are notorious for needing the LSD, the limited slip clutch
chatter.
Yeah.
So if you actually turn your car lock to lock and start to go slow, if you don't put it in with usual stuff, it should do that. It should chatter.
This thing, smooth as butter.
Yeah, I've never added any additive to any of the AMSOIL gear loops, and I've never had a